Hi there, welcome to Kneppy Invest, and welcome to three companies on the ASX that release interesting or intriguing Appendix 5Bs or 4Cs for the June quarter 2025. I am recording this video on the 9th of August, intending to release it towards the start or maybe the middle of October. In fact, I've only got, after this one, I've only got 4 more of these videos in the series to do. Okay, in today's video, I'll be focusing on 3 companies that I know very little about. In fact, 2 of these companies I've never looked at before, and that is Po Valley Energy. No idea what they do, except apparently they're energy and something to do with Italy, interesting enough. The next company is Brightstar Resources, a gold producer. Maybe. Well, definitely gold producer because they do have receipts. So I've never looked at this company before. And the one company I've looked at a little bit, but not a lot, is Dr. Care Anywhere. And this is, well, I'll talk about what these companies do in a second. So what I'll do is I'll briefly discuss what these companies do. In fact, I'll learn a fair bit about what these companies do. Then we'll have a look at the Appendix 5Bs or 4Cs for these companies. Of course, they release 5Bs if they're mining, 4Cs if they're non-mining companies. Then we'll have a look at the cash receipts history. For a few of these companies, not much history there, particularly Po Valley and Brightstar. And then we'll have a look at the chart. So starting off with Po Valley, very first time I've looked at this company, and I just opened up their website here, and I was like, Italy? Po Valley Energy meeting Italy's domestic energy challenge through local gas production. My first question would be, if this is an Italian company, well, interesting name, why are they listed on the ASX? Have a look at the company, their story. And they just talk about Italy is an Italian-focused gas and condensate development company, explorer and developer of natural gas for domestic consumption in Italy, one of the major gas producers in Southern Europe. And that's it. They also talk about the Italian gas market, which I didn't really read. Favorable market dynamics with a focus on domestic energy security. I also had a very quick look at the management. I just wanted to see if it's Italians. But the first guy, or the chairman, is Kevin Bailey, which they do need, even if it might be an Italian company, they still need Australians to be on the board. That is an absolute must. I think there is some sort of requirement. Not sure what that requirement is. But even so, Kevin Bailey has been a director since 2016, and he's been a shareholder since 2008. So he does know a fair bit of about this company. And there's a possibility that the reason this company lists on the ASX is because of Kevin Bailey and his history with this company. It could be as simple as that. I don't know. Sarah Melinda Edmondson is a non-executive director. Joseph Constable, Katrina Leary, Michael Gentile, and there's no Italian names at all there. But that's in the board. But if we have a look at the management, Mr. Giorgio Bertuzzi, then we have Gianluca Di Rosa, senior geophysicist and team leader. And then we have Pier Bialo Bonica. So we definitely have a much more Italian-themed management team there. And then also Diego Ballesteri and Daria Fortunati. She's the geologist production manager. When I think Italy, I don't think gas production, but that's just me. This just shows you that I'm ignorant. Okay. I'd love to know why this company did list on the ASX. And we could actually say, go back in time. Has this company changed its name? You could always go back. Yeah, it goes back to 2006, but I doubt this company was Po Valley back then. Or they do mention gas reserves here. There's a chance they change the name. No, Po Valley Energy. So there you go. This company was actually called Po Valley Energy in 2006. So I'm not sure when they listed, but if you go actually to the history, the announcement history, they all go back to 2006. So that's the earliest we have when it comes to announcements. So Po Valley has been on the ASX for a while. This is like the first time I've looked at it. So it just shows you there's so many companies on the ASX, and sometimes you're going to miss what they do. Apparently, according to Market Index, they listed on the 14th of December 2004. There you go. Again, my big question is why? Although the head office is in Perth. I have no idea. Okay, now let's have a look at the company's appendix for, not 4C, 5B, for the June quarter. Why am I starting to look at this company? So let's have a look. Now they do their financials in euros. So only receipts of 1.9 million. So not a lot of receipts, but they were operating cash flow positive by 921,000, even with giving $616,000 back in royalties. So this company is operating cash flow positive, almost 1 million euros in a quarter. Now, for the year to date, so far, 2.6 million operating cash flow positive, and they don't spend a lot of money in operations. Oh no, financing and what's the other one? Financing, investing activities. So this company, cash flow is going to the bottom line. Cash on hand is increasing up to $7.5 million. No debt as well. Anyway, so there are some things to like about this company. Anyway, so let's have a look at some of their highlights. They talk about being operating cash flow positive. In fact, they say it was strong during the period with continuation of diligent cost management, no debt, and investment in high-quality gas prospects to capitalize on growth in the European region. What else do they mention here? Nothing much I really want to talk about. But anyway, talk about some of their production and that sort of jazz, some of their projects or operational overview of their projects. They've all got Italian names, of course they do, and then financial performance. Anyway, so yeah, home office in Perth, but their Rome office is in Rome. Well, that makes sense. We'll say the Italian office is in Rome. There we go. Anyway, so first time I've looked at this company, and there is some things to like about Po Valley Energy. Now onto the cash receipts history. Now, I've not been tracking the cash receipts for this company too long. Now, there's a possibility that they finally started getting receipts back in 2023, and before that, they had no receipts. There is a chance that has happened. So this company went to production. Now, the way you could figure that out is just to go back in time. So we go to July or the June quarter 2022. Did they have any receipts? Let's have a look. And they had nothing. So it looks like this company may have just gone into production back in the September quarter 2023, and receipts have been growing since then. So a nice upward trend in receipts. So an interesting company, Po Valley. Now, I haven't looked at the market cap, by the way, and this company does have a market cap of 63.74 million. So yeah, so it's not that large, not that small. 1.16 billion shares on issue. Now let's have a look at the chart. So I do like what I see with this company. It's small, but let's have a look at the chart. And the chart. This is the daily chart. And, well, this is showing me that we definitely have seen a shift in sentiment in this company. In fact, what I've got to do here is auto fit. There we go, auto fit. So share price was in a downtrend. Then we saw the share price go sideways for a long time. In fact, I would say about a year or so, and we have seen a bit of positive momentum in the share price. We saw some big volume coming through in April of this year, some big volume coming through. Now, that volume hasn't been sustained, but subtle increase in volume, not a massive increase. That's probably the one little thing I could maybe say negative about this increase in share price. We haven't seen the volume come in, but the share price has, well, the chart does look interesting at this point in time. And the share price is, at almost 2 years high. Yeah, the last time the share price was between 5.5 and 6 cents was way back in August 2023. So we're talking about a 2-year high in Po Valley's energy share price. And if we have a look at the weekly chart, yeah, nothing much to see here at all. In fact, there was a massive drop back in 2010. Nothing much to see in the weekly chart. Okay, so that's Po Valley. First time I've ever looked at this company, and a few surprises there. Few surprises there for that company. Now to Brightstar Resources, gold producer. I think this company also recently into production. We don't really need to know who they are. Projects, looks like their projects are in WA. I'm just having a guess. Laverton, does sound WA. Sandstone, don't know. Menzies, don't know. Sometimes they will provide a map if you open it up. They do provide some sort of map, but not the map I was looking for. Do they mention where it is? No. What about Sandstone? Sandstone town site. It's not telling me exactly where Sandstone is. And Lady Shenton. Still don't know. Oh, they did release a presentation recently. I'm gonna have a look at that presentation. Anyway, so gold producer, I think they're recently into production. So let's have a look at the market cap of this company. Brightstar Resources market cap is $250 million. Okay, so let's have a look at this company's most recent. Let's see if Comsec's now up. It's almost 12:30. It's almost 12:30. No, it's still not working. Let's have a look at Brightstar's most recent Appendix 5B. Might also open up their Diggers and Dealers presentation. And then, yeah, let's have a look. By the way, this Appendix 5B and the activity report was 48 pages long. This is why I like to see companies release separately their cash flow and their activities, because you will have to go through this. If you want to look at the cash receipts, you have to go through this and find it way down below. Yeah, there it is. You have to go all the way to page. Well, we're still going. Have to go all the way down to page 44 to get to the relevant bits. Anyway, so cash receipts, 18.9 million for the quarter, and they were operating cash flow positive in this quarter. This might be the first operating cash flow quarter for the company, because for the year to date, only 28 million. So obviously, maybe not obviously, they might be ramping up production, and they did burn through $31 million of cash in the quarter. In fact, 32 million. Did spend a fair bit of money on capital expenditure, so not free cash flow positive for the quarter, and definitely not for the year. But maybe the company is moving towards that inflection point. They spent a fair bit of money on mine property development, so still need a fair bit of cash. In fact, looks like their loans are going up based off their proceeds from borrowings. Cash on hand is $11 million, but the reason it's that high is because the loans are going up, or the borrowings are going up. $14 million in loans, but they also have $3.3 million in unused financing facilities. So if they're still burning through this amount of cash, either they have to raise more capital, or they have to enter into a new financing facility. They probably don't have to answer question 8. No, they don't, because they were operating cash flow positive. There you go. Anyway, let's have a look at their presentation. I just want to see where they have production. There we go. Building a growing West Australian gold producer. Did they say that on their homepage? I'll be very embarrassed if they actually said on their homepage, building a growing West Australian gold producer. I am so embarrassed they actually said that on their homepage. Oh, geez. Anyway, another reason I might want to just have a look at this presentation is just to see what their plans are. Are they expected to ramp up production? They're talking about those other 2 projects, Laverton, DFS delivered, FID target late 2025, Sandstone, PFS due early 2026. Platform now set for staying organic growth to 200,000 ounces per annum. So that's the sort of thing I'd like to look at. Transformative 12 months, platform for value creation. And what else? Advancing 3 hub production growth. Which one's in production? There we go. Laverton, existing underground production from Second Fortune and Fish mines. I might have here we have production path to target 200,000. Okay. So current, looks like a nice increase in production in the next financial year. And Sandstone project aspirational production. So that 200,000 is based off some Sandstone aspirational production. Now, if they do achieve that, that looks fairly interesting. They also have a nice, what do you call this? DFS outcomes. And yeah, it's a nice cash flow if they do achieve their goals, I suppose you could say. Anyway, I might have a closer look at this in later, after I finish recording this video. Okay, now to the cash receipts history. There's not much here. Not much here for Brightstar. In fact, I think it's only like 4 quarters. In fact, I can't even find it. There it is. Yeah, 4 quarters. And there's 1 quarter, nothing. So this company has just gone to production, looks like. Just gone to production. And they have reached operating cash flow, but not free cash flow, still burning through cash. So that's Brightstar. Now let's have a look at the chart for this company. By the way, I'm pretty sure this company was popping up on my list quite frequently in July. Yeah, they were releasing quite a few price-sensitive announcements in July. And at one point, it looked like they were doing it day after day. So June, July, a lot of announcements in June and July. Okay, so let's go have a look at the chart for Brightstar. BTR ticker code. We'll have a look at the weekly chart first. I'm not sure when this company listed. Yeah, it might have been a long time ago. Share price really took off back in August 2020. In fact, the share price at one point went as high as $2.20. And since then, nothing much. Look at the volume, though. Look at the massive increase in volume in the last few years. So let's have a look at the daily chart. Now, that could be because maybe there's way more shares on the issue. Definitely an increase in volume in the past year. So this time last year, not much volume and substantive increase in volume. So there is someone interested in this company. Now, in saying that, the share price has pulled back a fair bit. In fact, it's pulled back from 74 cents down to 43 cents, but it is at a support level. So this chart does look good. Now, don't forget, I'm recording this video on the 9th of August, so there is a chance the share price or the chart could look significantly different when you're watching this video. Anyway, but the chart looks interesting in terms of it's at a support level. Okay, next company I'm going to look at is Dr. Care Anywhere. In fact, I just Googled Doctor Anywhere. I Googled Doctor Anywhere. In fact, what I'm going to do is Doctor Anywhere. I didn't put Doctor or the care in there. And there's another company called Doctor Anywhere, Singapore's homegrown healthcare. So make sure you put in that care. Yeah, because then you get a completely different company. Anyway, so Dr. Care Anyway, I'm pretty sure this is UK based. I could be wrong with that, but I'm pretty sure they have operations in UK. And it's just if you want a doctor or speak to a doctor online, pretty sure this is it. They do mention pounds. Peace of mind, just 45 pounds. So book your online GP appointment now. Get a live video consultation. This is like perfect for me because I don't like going to doctors and I prefer that sort of thing. And yeah, there we go, UK. Trusted by 3 million people across the UK. So GP appointments, mental health support, physiotherapy. I thought physiotherapy would be in person. I could be completely wrong. Excellent service, got an appointment within an hour, easy to use, choice of clinicians, highly recommend. There you go. Trusted digital healthcare. That's probably a good way to define this company. Digital healthcare company. Okay. So let's have a look at this company's most recent Appendix 4C. And yeah, this definitely came on my radar. Also, the chart looks pretty good as well. There we go. One of UK's private providers of telehealth services. That's another way to define this company, telehealth. Okay. They also doing Australia Roadshow September. Now, it's going to be pretty easy to see why this company is in this video. They do have their financials in pounds, which makes sense. Receipts $10.9 million in this particular quarter, and operating cash flow positive $2.8 million. Now, the other thing I should mention, this company has a market cap of only $53 million. So keep that in mind, $53 million, and they're operating cash flow positive by $2.8 million. Now, for the year, operating cash flow positive by $1.9 million. So there is potential here that they've hit this inflection point in the last quarter, based off the quarter or comparing the quarter to 6 months. Now, the cash receipts didn't grow all that much. I suppose they did a little bit. So I'm just wondering if they've decreased spending, a little bit of decrease in spending and staff costs. And I'd say no decrease in product manufacturing, but definitely a decrease. Oh, not only staff costs, admin costs as well. So they've decreased staff and admin costs. In the last quarter, looks like about $4.5 million. This quarter, $2.7 million. So that has really helped their financial state in this quarter. But I do like that $2.8 million operating cash flow for the quarter. Only $590,000 in intellectual property. So that's an ongoing capitalized research and development costs. And that means they were free cash flow positive by my own definition, free cash flow positive by about 2.1 million, which is not that bad for a quarter for a company this size. Okay, cash on hand, 4.8 million pounds. That's the other thing I've got to think. This is pounds, which is different than dollars. Okay. And then you got to also realize that the markup is in dollars, not pounds. It's sort of annoying. It is annoying. So yeah. So how do we convert? It's one of the reasons I don't like looking at companies with a different currency. I don't mind looking at American dollars or even New Zealand dollars, but even euros. But when it comes to pounds, so what is 2,700 pounds in AUD? So you just double it. Yeah, I used to do that, but I wasn't sure if it was still. So it looks like a doubling. So that makes this quarterly even better. So if you double that operating cash flow, 5.5 million Australian dollars in operating cash flow. That's pretty interesting, isn't it? Yes, it is. Definitely. And they have about $10 million in cash. Do they have any debt? They do have 10.6 million pounds in debt. So that is a little bit of debt. I like them to sort of pay back that debt. That it would be a decision that management have to make. We're now cash flow positive. What are we going to do with this cash flow? Are we going to pay down debt? Or are we going to put more money in research and development, or maybe acquisitions? So that is the capital allocation decision that management have to make. In fact, it's one of the most important decisions, one of the most important jobs management have to do when a company gets to this point. Okay, what about any sort of commentary? And of course, I do mention pounds, activated lives at period end, consultations in period, repeat patients, and it looks like slowly increasing. Slowly increasing, although some of these are decreasing, but slowly increasing. Consultations by quarter, it's not greatly increasing. So I can definitely see why they decided to focus on costs because they're not really growing at a significant rate. Cost, cash position, and in fact, they actually did include operating costs. And I'm just having a look. Yeah, operating costs have gone from 6.9 million down to 4.6 million. And other non-operating staff costs from 2.6 million down to 2 million. And admin costs gone from 1.7 million to 900,000. So you can just see there, they've put emphasis on decreasing costs. But at this point, it's okay. But you don't want to. You want to see this company still growing. You still want to see the company growing. Anyway, so let's have a look at the cash receipts history. So based off that, I wouldn't expect the cash receipts to be growing at a significant rate, but I could be wrong. Let's have a look. That's the whole reason I go through this or do this step. So here's the cash receipts history for Dr. Care Anywhere. And yeah, we don't see a massive increase in receipts. Now, if you just start on the March quarter 2021 and compare it to now, you go, wow, it's been a really good increase in receipts. Now, receipts have grown. There's definitely an uptrend there. But if you just have a look at the last 2 years, you'd say there's less sign of an upward trend in receipts. In fact, you could even say there's a bit of a downward trend in receipts. In fact, the two worst quarters in the past 2 years have happened in the last year. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on the cash receipts. But maybe we're going to see a bit of a spurt in cash receipts. Maybe. Okay, now onto the chart for Dr. Care Anywhere. And the chart has taken off. So it seems like the market likes how they've cut in their costs. And the share price has gone, I wouldn't say ballistic, but definitely an uptrend for Dr. Care Anywhere. Share price has about doubled since February. So in the past 6 months, the share price has doubled. Okay, and by the way, the weekly chart, have a quick look at the weekly chart. I would assume, I was going to say I would assume the share price has dropped a lot since they listed, and it has. So even though share price looks like it's an uptrend now, look at this chart. Share price $1.50 back in or just after they listed. So does that mean the market cap of this company was 500 million? Let's have a look-see. Let's have a look at the market cap of this company back when they listed. And you can just see how sometimes the market can be irrational. Or maybe not. Maybe the market gets a little bit ahead of itself. We'll have a look at the market cap of this company. And yeah, almost $500 million, the market cap of this company back at the start of 2021. So now it's 56 million. So if you love this company back then, you should love it even more now because valuation is completely different. Okay, that is all I have for this video, looking at 3 interesting Appendix 5Bs and 4Cs for Brightstar, Po Valley, and also Dr. Care Anywhere. If you have any questions, any thoughts, leave those in the comment section of this video. Otherwise, I'm not a financial advisor. If you need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who is qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for this video. Have a good day. Bye.